way we can prepare them best orator, how we can organize, how we can evaluate them with an academic exercise. That's why through the forum and Acquaint, we have started the competitive academic sessions on webinar, not only for postgraduates, but also from undergraduate from this year. And there is a huge response and enthusiasm amongst the undergraduate and postgraduates. Respected colleague, please be kind to join in this journey. It will be a lifelong reward and achievement for you towards Indian ophthalmology. Jai Hind. Please to join in this meeting.
Hello. Thank you, Professor Samanta. Sir, kindly take a seat on the dais. Dear friends, because of lack of timing, we have joined these two sessions, Padma Awadi session. It is a very special session and Acquaint session, and we have got two speakers who will be speaking online and one Dr. Natarajan. Professor Natarajan is here. We welcome you, sir. Such a grand personality amongst us. And we'll be starting first of all with Dr. A.K. Grover, Padam Shri Dr. A.K. Grover. He will be speaking on reconstruction of the complex eyelid defects, navigating the road less traveled. Acquaint भी है, we have joined. So,
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
ये पहले था जी. So Dr. Grover, I welcome you, sir. Good morning, sir. Dr. Chaudhary here, sir.
And grateful to UP State Ophthalmic Society for this honor and this opportunity to meet all of you and to talk to you. I will be speaking on complex eyelid reconstructions. And this will be on a subject on complex cases, which is the road less traveled. Thank you, UPSOS, once again for this honor.
I thought I was talking about social misbeliefs and cost of cataract surgery. So let's see if I can get my slides, and it'll take only 5 minutes to get most relevant points to a practice. स्लाइड मिल सकती है हमारी? उसमें चढ़ी हुई है, ऑलरेडी लोडेड है. इसमें लगा दो.
Can you put that thing on there? इसमें वो connect कर दो. So for years together, we have been told that glaucoma damage is irreversible, and that has been the general teaching that we all have been taught. How many people in this audience think that glaucoma damage is reversible?
Yes, yes.
Anybody else?
Glaucoma damage.
How many people think that glaucoma damage can be reversed?
You are on that chair, na?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
She went away.
And a lot of persons are Sanita.
If you come here, then we will sit here.
That will be more comfortable sitting there.
Yeah. So, so traditionally, we all have been told that glaucoma damage is not reversible.
But it is, sir.
Well, so at least two people are on my side. But when I was a resident, I was told that it was not. So clearly, most of us understand that it's not reversible. And if you look at this slide of one of my patients, this patient has a notch above here. I would request if panel can sit there, you would be able to see it more clearly. Yeah. And you're welcome. There's a notch up here and there's a thin rim down here. And as you can see, from 2007 to 2017, the visual fields have been reasonably poor, but They correspond to the disc and they have not changed because the pressure has been maintained within the target pressure limits. And from 2019 to 2021 also, there is a growing trend for visual fields to slightly deteriorate despite good treatment. So most of the patients who come to us and they ask us, doctor, can it become okay? Our answer normally is no. Now look at another patient of mine who has a thin superior rim and thin inferior rim and a corresponding scotoma. 2014, 15 and 18, I don't know whether you can see this retinal nerve fiber damage. If somebody can reduce the lights up here, ye wali light kam karke dekho. This retinal nerve fiber damage actually is below this blood vessel, and as the days progress, the retinal nerve fiber damage has progressively increased. However, the fields have remained similar because this structural damage precedes the functional damage, so I'm expecting in the next couple of years, there would be a field change also. Yeah. Now, what do all of us know about glaucoma damage? That it's a progressive optic neuropathy, and intraocular pressure reduction definitely slows down the rate of progression. However, can intraocular pressure reverse the changes which have been developed by glaucoma, and can it improve visual function, is the answer that we are seeking today. Now let me start with showing you a few of the larger studies. You don't have to go through all this data. There are three basically large studies: ocular hypertension study, normal tension glaucoma study, and early manifest glaucoma study. These are the three commonly quoted studies. Another is interventional treatment glaucoma study, which I'll come to it later. All these studies show that with treatment or without treatment, at least 50% patients worsen without treatment as compared to with treatment. So clearly, intraocular pressure lowering does protect against progression of glaucoma field loss. But that's not our question. But these studies, if you ask them, can glaucoma loss be reversed by intraocular pressure lowering? The question was neither studied nor answered in any of these studies, which were the largest randomized clinical trials. Now, one August in 2018, this is before pandemic struck, I was sitting in my office and this patient comes to me with a normal looking left disc. You can see the margins are healthy, but there's a notch superiorly and an inferior thinning of rim. The pressures were 31 and 28. And she said that she has dull and restricted vision, restricted like this. So I got the fields done, and sure enough, there was a field damage in the right eye which was corresponding to the thin inferior rim. There was dense superior arcuate scotoma, there's a notch, so there's an inferior arcuate scotoma as well. However, the disc which was looking healthy also had a ring scotoma superior over inferior. I got the fields repeated and they came similar. So the patient asked, doctor, can I become better? I said, no, but I'll try to give you some treatment which will ensure that further loss does not happen. And that, he said, is there a possibility? I said, 70% possibility is that the further vision loss can be prevented if the intraocular pressure comes down. So this is where, so I said, I'll see you in a week's time to check pressure. She said, I'm going out for a couple of months. I'll be only coming back 6 to 8 months later. I said, get intraocular pressure checked in a week and get back to me on telephone. So she calls up a week later. She said, my intraocular pressure is normal in the teens and I'm feeling much better. My vision has improved and that restriction of vision has gone. I thought to myself, oh, okay, so that's probably what she's thinking. However, she came back after 8 months. This is where we started treatment. And her fields actually had become better. Now, I had done these fields twice. Field had become better. In the left eye, field was almost normal because the disc was also looking normal earlier. Then she again came in August last year And I figured out that her field was stable in the right eye corresponding to her disc damage, and the left eye field was completely normal. And you can compare pictures from 2018 and 2019, April. There's absolutely no change in the right disc. There's absolutely no change in the left disc. Left disc looks healthy. Right disc has thin inferior rim and a not superior rim. Now, I went back home and I thought to myself, can patients become better? So I sat on my computer, as most of us do, and opened this American Academy site. And this is free from one network. I logged in and I typed, can patients become better? And the second search result that I got, can patients get better? Measuring visual fields for improvement. This was a talk show by Joseph Caprioli. If people don't know him here, he is in UCLA in California. And this was a presentation that he was making in American Glaucoma Society meeting in 2018, and his answer was yes, patients can get better after glaucoma surgery. And he was referring to his article published in 2016, Trabeculectomy Can Improve Long-Term Visual Function in Glaucoma, in which study, this is the study, 74 eyes of 64 patients, and this study clearly showed that trabeculectomy slows rate of field loss. There was evidence of sustained long-term improvement of visual function, and he suggested a possibility of reversal of retinal ganglion cell dysfunction. He did a point-wise analysis of field, which was a very unique thing to see the field progression in each individual point of fields, and a substantial number of patients, 80% of patients showed more than 5 points which showed improvement, and about 70% showed a 10 points improvement in visual function. And so he suggested that visual improvement after glaucoma surgery is not a rare phenomena. It's not a perimetric learning curve. It happens when there's a robust decrease in intraocular pressure, if damage is not too bad, if patient is not too old, and improvement continues over years, and it can be, and the improvement depends on the magnitude of intraocular pressure reduction. Now, if you look at this ganglion, the retinal ganglion cell, apart from the soma, if that becomes dead, nothing good can happen. But if dysfunction is in dendritic or axonal level, there is a possibility of a reversal of retinal ganglion cell damage. And his proposal was, in glaucoma, there is a window of opportunity during which reversal of early compartmental retinal ganglion cell degeneration can substantially improve visual function. This improvement can continue for years and can be sustained over a patient's lifetime. Now, this is about surgery, and this was a very, very large, a reasonably large study and very definite improvement. Is it only surgery, or can medical or other reduction of intraocular pressure reverse glaucoma loss? So I read further, do we have more evidence? And I found a lot of articles which suggested reversal, and a few articles which opposed, which said that fields cannot be improved or visual function cannot improve after reduction of intraocular pressure. Now, I'm not talking about the 1869 to 1969, including those 2 years where there's evidence to show drawings. At that time, fields were not there. Drawings suggesting reversal of optic disc cupping after reduction of intraocular pressure. Why I'm not discussing, because we are only talking of peer-reviewed journal. But as far as back as 1985, Spaeth, who's in Wills Eye Hospital, Philadelphia, if you know, he published a study of 77 trabeculectomy patients, and he showed improvement in field with improvement in intraocular pressure and vice versa. So from 1985, we already knew that, and Spaeth and Katz in 89 again published AJO, reversing of optic nerve cupping with improvement of fields in 21 and 31% patients respectively in patients who underwent glaucoma treatment, surgical, medical, or whatever. So when I was a resident, I don't remember being taught about this. Maybe I was dull, but I don't remember. And in these papers also, improvement was related to the degree of intraocular pressure reduction. Just remember these names. I'll come to them in one of my last slides. Spaeth and Katz, They are in Philadelphia, they are in Wills Eye Hospital, which is a huge hospital. Then a study in 1994 showed field improvement after trabeculectomy. A study in 1995 showed field improvement after ALT, that's argon laser trabeculoplasty. Let me show you this patient whose field improved after medical treatment. This is my patient, this is the better eye. You can see the RNFL loss here and progressing up to this. There's less loss, more loss, slightly more loss from 2008 to 2016. This is the better eye. And there was increase in his scotoma. We do his fields twice a year, maybe more, because it's free for him. He's my computer guy, So treatment is free, everything is free. So his scotoma increased. We improved. We decreased his target intraocular pressure. And look at the cluster analysis. It shows deterioration. When we started, we reduced his pressure further to low teens. If you notice, between 2016 to 2019, his fields kept on improving gradually, and they have maintained this level even today.
ये ऑनलाइन नहीं आ रहा है, ऑनलाइन जा नहीं रहा है, लेकिन लोग कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि आ नहीं रहा है ऑनलाइन. इट्स नॉट बीइंग फोकस्ड, केवल इनका चेहरा दिख रहा है बस, वो नहीं दिख रहा है.
बस चेहरा जरूरी है.
हाँ, तो ऑनलाइन नहीं, स्लाइड नहीं तो आए, स्लाइड भी तो होना चाहिए भाई. आप चेक करें. वेरी ऑल सर.
Yeah, so if only fields was the measure by which we were thinking that this patient deteriorated, and when we reduced pressure further, he improved. You don't have to only believe fields. This is GTX, this is like OCT, and nerve fiber index from 2008 to 2019. Nerve fiber index, the lesser is better, and 30 till 30 is okay. So you see from 18 in 2008, we constantly went down to 41 in 2016. We reduced treatment. It started improving 38 and 31. So fields and GDX, they correlate, and both of these things tell that if you reduce the intraocular pressure further, the progression of fields can be actually reversed and if not stabilized. Now SITS is a very nice collaborative intervention glaucoma treatment study which randomized patients to surgery and medical treatment as a primary treatment. And when it was published in 2001, it said that because vision becomes poorer in surgical patients, we do not suggest the current methodology of treatment, that is medicines first and surgery later. However, this data was revisited several times, and in 2009, 2 studies came out of the same data. The first said that initial surgery is beneficial with patients with more glaucoma loss, but it is detrimental for patients who have diabetes mellitus, which means if a patient comes for the first time, if the intraocular pressure is too high, it's better to put him to surgery. But if he's a diabetic, it's not a good idea to put him to surgery. In the same year, 2009, SITS this study group published a report which suggested reversal of optic disc cupping in early open-angle glaucoma, 13% in trabeculectomy group, only 1% in the topical treatment group, which means there was reversal after surgery. Why did we not know about all this? Because these articles were not widely shared, because they don't help pharmaceutical industry at all. In 2014, this data was again revisited, and it was seen that percentage of patients which deteriorated in surgical group, as many patients improved in the surgical group. So if you take the mean, it's kind of different, but there was improvement in half the patients who underwent surgery. And the improvement was related to intraocular pressure control, and visual field improvement was real. There's another study in 2015 which shows short-term improvement of visual fields after surgery. Let me just show this old patient. He was an 84-year-old patient with a large disc and a reasonably good field to begin with. And in 6 months, his fields deteriorated. This is not a typical glaucoma field, but he doesn't have any retinal pathology. I got him seen. So in these 5-6 months, his field deteriorated hugely. And you can see it in cluster and trend analysis. And we did his surgery. I didn't want to do a surgery. He said, "Doctor, I'm not going to die soon." please do my surgery. So I did. And his field improved. And it remained good for 8 months, 10 months or so. But then it deteriorated again despite his pressure being around 10ish. Why that happened, I don't know. But after surgery, his vision did improve for quite a while. Now there's a study opposing reversal. It's Anders Heil, who is the Humphrey guy. He suggested that visual field does not improve after initiation of IOP reduction, and these were from early manifest glaucoma treatment trial, the statistics. However, in his own comment, he writes, at least not in individuals with initial normal to moderately elevated IOPs. That means in higher IOPs, it does make some difference. That is what he would have meant, which he didn't say. Now, just look at this patient of mine, 2014, 16, 19. This is a normal disc, but there's a RNFL defect on top here. This is only eye of that patient. He's been my patient from 1994. I did his cataract surgery in this eye because he is dead with cataract. I took his fundus picture and I noticed this. His pressures were 18, 20 or something. And I said, oh my God, let me do your fields. And I did fields. They were all normal till 2016 when he showed up this scotoma, which corresponded exactly with that RNFL defect superiorly, and we started him on treatment. His field became normal, the standard automatic perimetry, and till today it's normal. However, so we started treatment here, it became okay. However, even today, if you do pulsar perimetry, like FDT, like flicker perimetry, which detects earlier, you can still catch that small scotoma down there. It hasn't increased, but he is on treatment. Now, so if glaucoma damage can be reversed, why did we miss this nicer side of glaucoma treatment? It's beautifully elaborated in this article of BHU 2017, which is a review article, and it says it has reviewed all the RCTs in glaucoma till 2017. It says out of 401 glaucoma trials, only 11% provided complete information of fields. Minority followed patients for more than a year. Half received funding from the industry. So that is the reason why we missed on knowing that. Now this entire presentation I made in 2019, as I said, and look what came out this year. Early this year, Survey of Ophthalmology, there was a review article, Improvement in Structure and Visual Function in Patients with Glaucoma, the possible key to better treatment. And it said there's increasing evidence that permanent vision loss and cell death are preceded by a reversible functional and structural changes, which we all need to remember. So I told you, look out at these two names, Spade and Katz. They're still alive. They just